Well, good evening, hostility. Knock it off! Well, good evening, hostility fans. Time once again for the news. Walter Wolf here.
Jerry Mann here.
Bringing you
the Wolfman News.
The next labor trouble to hit the nation will be the animal strike. That's right, the IBABC, the International Brotherhood of Animals, Beasts, and Critters, announced today that unless their demands are met, they will run, fly, swim, trot, canter, and gallop off the job at midnight tonight. They're asking for more food and not to be killed all the time.
Another tuna boat was captured by Ecuador outside of the 200-mile limit. The president stated that this is getting out of hand. This boat was still in San Diego.
Several more names were added to the growing list of Democratic presidential candidates today as Harold Stassen, Don Ho, Dave Brubeck, Jack Frost, Father Time, Arlene Francis, and the entire cast of Bridge on the River Kwai tossed their hats into the ring. Now for some news from across the tracks, here is Stafford Cripps.
Stafford Cripps here, where it's happening. Mom's Barbecue Palace was held up again for the 5th time. However, this was the first time the hold-up man got any money. On the brighter side, here's a story with a happy ending. Martha Moss and Harold Perkins, childhood sweethearts since 1890, yesterday were married at the age of 93. A case of better late and never. A used late model economy car was reported stolen from Honest Marvin's used car lot. Police overtook the stolen car after a chase of 400 feet. All yours, Waller.
Thank you, Jerry. Medical researchers have discovered a new disease which has no symptoms. It's impossible to detect, and there's no known cure for it. Fortunately, it's confined to New Jersey. South Vietnamese President Thieu has announced he will enter the Wisconsin primary as a Republican. He feels that Vietnam should not be an issue. Says he inherited it from President Johnson. Interstate Highway 95 was the scene of a freak accident today as 3 freaks in a camper crashed into 6 freaks in a van.
According to the latest statistics, the new street lights in Glendale have reduced crime by 50%. It would have been 100%, but half of the lights were stolen. San Diego. A gorilla escaped from the San Diego Zoo today. He is to be considered dangerous. He's carrying a knife. Do not approach without a banana. Back to you, Walter.
The Food and Drug Administration has issued a warning today that chewing the fingernails causes tooth decay in short people. Thousands of senior citizens will converge on Washington next week in the first major demonstration by Elderly Lib. They plan a series of nonviolent marches and naps. And now, here with all the sports is Charlie Horse.
Charlie Horse here. We tell them as we see them. If we don't, we use old scores. In racing, at Santa Anita today, the winner of the 3rd race was Flying Tiger, who finished last in the 2nd race. In basketball today, the Athletic Humanitarian Award went to Wilt Chamberlain for his generous award of $100,000 to the State Home for the Tall. A new world record was set in the mile run today by an unknown who ran the distance in 3:50 flat. A policeman came in 2nd, a bullet came in 3rd. And now here's Al Sleet, your hippy-dippy weatherman.
Hey, what's happening? Hey, Pasa. Hey, what you call your Pasa? Al Sleet here, you hippy-dippy weatherman. If you'll take a look at our national weather map, you'll see that we don't have one. So try to picture last night's map up in your mind. Remember all them lines and numbers. Weather was dominated by a whole lot of little low-pressure centers. A whole lot of lows. What this country needs is a good high. High pressure should pass through St. Louis. Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City is mighty pretty. Lucy, well, everybody's got their own little trip, you know.
Thank you, Al Sleep, from your piano bar in the sky. Before we say goodnight, we want to leave you with a thought. There's an old saying, they never come back. But it's not true. In 1954, Frank Sinatra came back. In 1970, Richard Nixon came back. And tomorrow night, we'll be back.
It's 8 o'clock in Los... Knock it off! It's 8 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 9 o'clock in Denver. It's 10 o'clock in Chicago. In Newark, it's 4:42. And this is Phil Pepper
And Harry Salt.
bringing you
The Salt and Pepper Report. The only news roundup brought to you without interruptions for commercials.
a policy that will continue until we get a sponsor. In today's headlines, Welcome Wagon runs over newcomer. Good Humor Man slays 10. Pen Pal stabs pal with pen. Now for a look at what's happening in Washington, the dean of our Washington newsmen, Dean Washington.
This is Booker T standing in for Dean today. Today, friends, there was a holdup at the Bank of America. Because of the government's freeze on money, the robber was allowed to take only the same amount as the last robbery.
On the political scene, Democrats charged today that President Nixon has not reduced crime. But thanks to his economic policies, we all have less money to be stolen. Here's an unusual story. It was discovered today that famed medium Edgar Casey was not really a medium after all. His family says he was an extra large.
A 100-year-old man, Count Gregor LaBasie, today married 19-year-old Lolita Thompson. After the ceremony, he died when struck by a piece of rice.
In Washington today, it was announced that because of the great number of unsafe foods on the market, from now on, the Food and Drug Administration will announce only the foods that are safe to eat. Today's list, macadamia nuts and wax beans.
Hollywood. The new movie Willard is not doing well in ghetto theaters. Patrons say if they want to see rats, they can stay at home. And now for the latest in sports, here's Biff Barf in the Spotlight Spotlight.
Well, good evening, sport fans. Biff Barf here, biffing and barfing and picking them up and barfing them back at you, gang. I call them the way I see them, and if I don't see them, I make them up. Here are some late football scores. About 5 days late. 49ers, 76. 76ers, 49. Miami of Ohio, 14. Palm Beach of Indiana, 7. Rice, 35. Macaroni, 2 for 29.
We'd like to take a moment here to make a little salute to gutsy little Chuck Yabaronowitsky, the 98-pound tackle who yesterday played his first game against the Green Bay Packers. In lieu of flowers, his family requests, please send donations. Back to you, Biff.
Well, one final sports story. The National Football League has officially banned the use of pep pills by players. Said the commissioner, getting up for the game is one thing, but staying up all week is ridiculous. We'll be back in just a moment after tonight's sports editorial.
Yes, that's right. $2 on my girl Nancy in the third.
Editorial.
Hi, this is Eddie Torial here. track betting be allowed? Why not? It is this reporter's opinion it should be approved along with racing, lotteries, slot machines, bingo, and armed robbery. Anything less would be denying Americans of one of our most precious rights, the privilege of losing money. Thank you.
That's our sports editorial. We recognize our obligation to present opposing views. We don't present them, but we recognize our obligation. If you disagree with this editorial, tough.
Now, for the latest in weather, here's Al Sleep.
Hey, baby, what's happening? Hey, what you call your pasa? I'll sleep here, you hippy-dippy weather, man. With the hippy-dippy weather, tonight the weather word is mud. No one expected a mud storm. What happened was a dust storm came from the west and a rainstorm came from the Gulf, and bam, mud. Mud showers will taper off tonight, becoming a fine mud drizzle. And if temperatures dip below freezing, we'll have mud flurries tomorrow. Here's the 5-day forecast. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At this time, I was going to show you the satellite picture of North America, but the satellite picture didn't come out. Somebody moved.
Well, that just about wraps it up on 4 o'clock news. Friends, from San Clemente, this late report. There's news of an oil slick. The tide just came in, and the summer White House is now black. Beautiful! Join us again tomorrow night at 11 for the noontime report. Until then, this is Harry Salt.
And Phil Pepper, leaving you with this word to the wise.
Even the sign on Broadway has quit smoking.